Hey folks, welcome back to Stoic Relationships. Today, we're diving into something that everyone, at some point, strives for: respect. Whether it's in your career, friendships, or romantic relationships, respect is the foundation of how others perceive your value and how you navigate the world with confidence. But here's the catch. Respect isn't something you demand. It's something you command through your actions, your presence, and your ability to maintain composure in all situations. Let's face it, there are moments in life where respect feels out of reach. Maybe in a meeting, your contributions were overlooked, or perhaps in your relationship. You feel like your efforts aren't being valued as they should be. These experiences can be frustrating, but here's the truth. Respect starts with you. The way you carry yourself and the boundaries you establish set the tone for how others treat you. And folks, this applies to every interaction, whether it's with a colleague, a friend, or even someone you're dating. Now, let's talk about relationships, because respect is just as important here, if not more so. Have you ever been in a situation where you felt like your partner was taking you for granted? Maybe you kept compromising, hoping they'd notice your efforts, but instead, it only seemed to diminish their respect for you. This dynamic isn't uncommon, but it's fixable. The Stoics teach us that respect isn't about controlling others, it's about controlling ourselves, knowing our worth, and standing firm in our values. Marcus Aurelius once said, "The best revenge is not to be like your enemy." When it comes to relationships, this translates into not reacting impulsively to disrespect or neglect, but instead showing through your actions that you value yourself too much to tolerate behavior that undermines your worth. Whether you're building a relationship or trying to repair one, respect is the cornerstone that holds it all together. In this video, we're uncovering 7 powerful strategies inspired by Stoic philosophy that will help you earn respect in every aspect of your life, from professional settings to romantic connections. These principles go beyond surface-level behaviors. They're about creating a strong inner foundation that others can't help but admire. We'll explore how to make impactful first impressions, handle interruptions with grace, and turn moments of humiliation into opportunities to showcase your resilience. And yes, we'll delve into how to navigate romantic relationships where respect might have wavered. Think about it. In a romantic relationship, the way you handle disagreements can either strengthen the bond or slowly chip away at it. Do you stay calm, assertive, and respectful of both your partner and yourself? Or do you let emotions take over, leading to reactive behavior? Respect in relationships is a two-way street, and mastering these strategies will help you foster deeper connections while maintaining your own self-worth. But it doesn't stop there. We'll also discuss how to deal with provocation, whether it's from a partner, a friend, or even a stranger. Stoicism teaches us that our greatest strength lies in how we respond, not in how we react. Imagine facing a heated argument with your significant other, but choosing to pause, breathe, and respond thoughtfully instead of escalating the situation. Folks, this isn't just about keeping the peace. It's about commanding respect by showing that you're in control of yourself, even in the toughest moments. Before we jump in, let me ask you, have you ever felt like respect was slipping away in a relationship or an important connection? What would you do differently if you had the tools to rebuild it? Reflect on that as we move through this video, because these strategies will help you not only earn respect, but also keep it, no matter the circumstance. If you're ready to take control and build respect that lasts, whether it's in your career, your friendships, or your romantic relationships, hit that subscribe button. Join our Stoic Relationships community, where we explore the timeless wisdom that can elevate every aspect of your life. Let's dive in and uncover the keys to commanding respect with grace, strength, and intention. Number 1. Command respect with first impressions. Hey folks, let's talk about first impressions. They say you only get one chance to make a first impression. And that's because those initial moments set the tone for how others perceive and respect you. Whether it's meeting someone at work, walking into a social gathering, or going on a first date, the way you present yourself speaks volumes before you even say a word. Here's the thing. Respect starts the moment you step into a room. It's in how you carry yourself, how you look people in the eye, and even in the subtleties of your body language. Think about it. Have you ever met someone who instantly commanded attention without being loud or flashy? It's not magic. It's a combination of confidence, composure, and self-awareness. Let's break this down. The first component of a strong first impression is your posture and presence. Walk into any situation with your shoulders back, your head held high, and a calm but confident demeanor. This doesn't mean puffing yourself up to appear intimidating. It means standing in a way that communicates self-respect and readiness. Folks, how you hold yourself physically is a direct reflection of how you see yourself internally. And people pick up on this instantly. Next up is eye contact. Maintaining steady eye contact when greeting someone or during a conversation shows you're present and engaged. It's a simple yet powerful way to build trust and assert your presence. But here's the key. Make it natural. Don't stare someone down or force it. Balance eye contact with moments where you glance away naturally to avoid seeming overly intense. A warm, genuine smile to accompany that eye contact goes a long way in making others feel acknowledged and respected. And let's not forget the importance of handshakes. Whether it's a professional meeting or a casual introduction, a firm but not overly aggressive handshake communicates confidence. A weak handshake, on the other hand, can unintentionally send a signal of insecurity or lack of interest. Folks, small details like this might seem trivial, but they leave lasting impressions. Now, let me share a real-life example to highlight just how impactful first impressions can be. A friend of mine once attended a networking event filled with high-level professionals. Among the crowd, one individual stood out. Not because they were the loudest or most flamboyant, but because of how they carried themselves. They made an effort to greet everyone with a warm smile, a steady handshake, and genuine eye contact. Their calm demeanor and composed body language drew people in naturally. By the end of the night, this person had built meaningful connections, not because of what they said, but because of how they made others feel. Contrast that with someone else at the same event who stayed seated during introductions, avoided eye contact, and barely acknowledged others. Despite having impressive credentials, their lack of presence sent the message that they either didn't value the interaction or lacked confidence. Folks, it's a stark reminder that your actions often speak louder than your words. But here's an important note. First impressions aren't about trying to impress others or pretending to be someone you're not. They're about being your best, most authentic self. The Stoics teach us that our actions should align with our values. Marcus Aurelius reminds us, be tolerant with others and strict with yourself. This means holding yourself to a high standard, not to please others, but to reflect your own self-respect. So how can you practice this in everyday life? Start small. When you greet someone, stand up, look them in the eye, and offer a firm handshake. When you walk into a room, take a deep breath and remind yourself that your presence matters. These small gestures might seem minor, but they create a ripple effect in how others perceive and respect you. Before we move on, let me ask you, When was the last time you reflected on the impression you leave on others? Drop a quick "first impressions matter" in the comments if you're ready to take charge of yours. And folks, if you're finding this helpful, don't forget to hit subscribe. By joining our Stoic Relationships community, you'll get even more insights to help you build respect, navigate relationships, and live with greater confidence. Now that we've set the stage for commanding respect with first impressions, let's continue exploring how to handle interruptions with quiet confidence. Stick around. There's so much more to uncover. Number 2. Handle interruptions with quiet confidence. Hey folks, let's talk about interruptions, a situation we've all been in. Imagine this. You're in the middle of sharing an idea during a meeting or recounting a story in a group setting, when suddenly someone cuts you off. It's frustrating, right? But how you respond in that moment can either reinforce or diminish the respect others have for you. The key? Handling interruptions with quiet confidence. When someone interrupts you, the natural reaction might be to feel irritated or even defensive. You might want to cut them off right back, or assert yourself loudly to reclaim the floor. But here's the thing. These reactions often escalate the situation and make you seem reactive rather than composed. Instead, responding with calmness and intention sends a much stronger message that you are in control, unshaken, and deserving of respect. Let's explore what quiet confidence looks like in this context. First, pause and hold your ground. When someone interrupts you, resist the urge to compete for airtime. Instead, stop speaking and look directly at the person who interrupted. This pause is powerful. It shifts the dynamic, letting the interrupter and everyone else in the room feel the weight of your presence. You don't need to rush or raise your voice. Your calm, steady demeanor will do the talking. Here's where body language comes into play. Maintain eye contact with the interrupter and adopt an open but firm posture. These non-verbal cues convey authority and signal that you're not backing down, even though you're not engaging in a verbal battle. Folks, sometimes silence is louder than words, and in moments like these, it can be your greatest ally. Once you've established this quiet confidence, it's time to reclaim your voice with intention. Use a neutral but assertive tone to re-enter the conversation. A simple phrase like, "Let me finish my point," or "as I was saying," is often enough to redirect attention back to you. The key is to keep your tone calm and measured. This reinforces that you're in control of the situation. Let me share a story to bring this to life. A friend of mine, Alex, once faced a challenging dynamic at work. During team meetings, one particular colleague had a habit of interrupting Alex's presentations. Instead of reacting impulsively, Alex decided to adopt a stoic approach. The next time it happened, Alex paused, maintained steady eye contact, and calmly said, "I'd like to finish what I was saying first, and then we can discuss your point." The room fell silent, and the interrupter backed down. By handling the interruption with quiet confidence, Alex didn't just regain control of the conversation. They also earned the respect of their colleagues. But handling interruptions isn't just about workplace settings. In relationships, interruptions can signal deeper issues. For instance, if your partner frequently cuts you off during discussions, it might indicate a lack of mutual respect or poor communication habits. Addressing these interruptions calmly, without anger or frustration, can open the door to healthier, more respectful interactions. Let's connect this to Stoic philosophy. Marcus Aurelius reminds us, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." Realize this, and you will find strength. In moments of interruption, it's easy to feel like control has been taken from you. But Stoicism teaches us that true power lies in how you choose to respond. By maintaining composure and reasserting your voice calmly, you reclaim not just the conversation, but your sense of self-respect. Now, let's think about this practically. What happens when the interrupter doesn't back down? This is where you lean on your boundaries. If someone continues to talk over you, it's okay to assert yourself more firmly, saying something like, "I value your input, but I need to finish my thought first." Remember, folks, commanding respect isn't about being aggressive. It's about being clear and consistent in showing that your voice matters. Before we move on, let me ask, have you ever felt like someone's interruptions diminished your ability to express yourself? How did you handle it? Share your experience in the comments. I'd love to hear how you navigated those moments. And folks, if you're finding this helpful, don't forget to hit subscribe. At Stoic Relationships, we're here to give you practical tools to build respect and navigate life with confidence. Stick around, because up next, we'll explore how to turn moments of humiliation into opportunities to showcase your resilience. You won't want to miss it. Number 3, turn humiliation into power. Hey folks, let's talk about something that no one enjoys, but everyone experiences at some point. Humiliation. Whether it's a sarcastic comment in front of friends, being mocked for a mistake, or feeling belittled in a relationship, these moments can be deeply uncomfortable. But here's the thing. How you respond to humiliation can define whether it becomes a source of pain or a stepping stone to power. Humiliation hits hard because it often feels personal. It targets your ego, your pride, and your sense of worth. But the Stoics remind us that while we can't control what others do, we can control how we respond. Marcus Aurelius said, "Choose not to be harmed and you won't feel harmed. Don't feel harmed and you haven't been." This mindset is the key to turning humiliation into power. The first step in transforming humiliation is pausing and reframing the situation. Instead of reacting impulsively, getting angry, defensive, or retaliatory, take a moment to breathe. Ask yourself, does this truly affect my value, or is it just a reflection of the other person's behavior? Folks, more often than not, humiliation says more about the person dishing it out than it does about you. Recognizing this puts you back in control. Let's bring this into a practical context. Imagine you're at a dinner party, sharing an idea, and someone makes a mocking comment to undermine you. Your initial reaction might be embarrassment or anger, but instead of letting those emotions take over, try responding with calm curiosity. You could say, "That's an interesting perspective. Can you elaborate?" This approach not only diffuses the tension, but also subtly shifts the focus back onto the other person, encouraging them to think about what they said. Another powerful way to handle humiliation is leaning into self-assurance. People who humiliate others often do so to feel superior or in control. By showing that you're unshaken, you deny them that power. For example, if someone mocks you for a mistake, owning it with confidence can completely flip the narrative. Say something like, "You're right. I messed up there. Thanks for pointing it out. I'll do better next time." Folks, acknowledging your flaws without shame is one of the strongest things you can do. It shows you're comfortable with who you are and unafraid of growth. Let me share a real-life example. A colleague of mine once gave a presentation that didn't go as planned. During the Q&A, someone in the audience made a snide remark about their lack of preparation. Instead of getting flustered, my colleague smiled and said, "That's a fair critique. I appreciate the feedback." The room shifted. What could have been a moment of humiliation turned into a display of grace and emotional intelligence. By owning the situation, they earned respect instead of losing it. Humiliation can also be an opportunity for growth and resilience. Each time you face a situation like this, you're building a thicker skin and a sharper ability to navigate challenges. Think of it as training. Every time someone tries to knock you down, you're learning how to stand taller and stronger. Over time, this not only boosts your confidence, but also reinforces the respect others have for you. Here's a tip. Don't give your power away. When someone tries to humiliate you, it's often an attempt to provoke a reaction. If you respond with anger or defensiveness, you're giving them exactly what they want. Instead, keep your emotions in check and respond thoughtfully. This shows that you're in control of yourself, which is far more powerful than any insult or jab they could throw your way. Let's connect this back to Stoicism. Epictetus reminds us, it's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. Humiliation, like any challenge, is temporary. How you choose to respond determines whether it leaves a lasting wound or becomes a moment of triumph. Before we move on, think about this. Have you ever turned a moment of humiliation into a personal victory? If so, share your experience in the comments with the phrase "power through challenges." I'd love to hear how you turned the tables. And folks, if this resonates with you, hit subscribe to join our Stoic Relationships community. Together, we're learning to navigate life with clarity, strength, and self-respect. Stick around, because the next part of this journey will explore how to stay unshaken in the face of provocation. You won't want to miss it. Number 4, stay unshaken by provocation. Hey folks, let's dive into one of the biggest challenges we face in life: how to stay calm when provoked. Whether it's a heated argument with a partner, a colleague pushing your buttons at work, or even a stranger cutting you off in traffic, provocations test our ability to maintain composure. But here's the thing. How you react in those moments defines not just your self-control, but also the respect you command from others. Provocation is often intentional. Some people provoke to get a reaction, to feel in control, or to deflect attention from their own shortcomings. Other times, it's unintentional, a result of someone's bad day or unresolved issues spilling over. Regardless of the cause, your response is what matters most. As Marcus Aurelius reminds us, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. 5. The first step in staying unshaken by provocation is mastering the pause. When someone says or does something provocative, your natural instinct might be to react immediately. But reacting impulsively often leads to saying or doing things you might regret later. Instead, take a breath, pause, and assess the situation. This moment of stillness gives you clarity and prevents the provoker from controlling the dynamic. Let's explore an example. Imagine you're in a meeting and a colleague dismissively interrupts you, saying, "That idea won't work." What your immediate reaction might be to defend yourself or counterattack. But instead, you pause, look them in the eye, and calmly say, "I'd like to hear your perspective on why it won't work." This response not only redirects the focus back to them, but also shows that you're composed and open to dialogue. Folks, this simple shift in tone and control can turn a moment of conflict into an opportunity for constructive conversation. Another powerful strategy is detaching emotionally. Provocations often succeed when they tap into our insecurities or fears. By detaching yourself emotionally, you prevent the provoker from gaining power over you. Ask yourself, is this worth my peace of mind? More often than not, the answer is no. Viewing provocations as tests rather than attacks helps you maintain perspective and avoid unnecessary conflict. Here's a tip. Use body language to assert calm confidence. When provoked, maintain open and relaxed posture, steady eye contact, and a neutral expression. This nonverbal communication sends a clear message that you're not easily rattled. Remember, Folks, your actions speak louder than words, and staying physically composed reinforces your emotional control. But what about verbal responses? Stoic philosophy teaches us to choose words wisely. Instead of escalating the situation, respond with calm and measured language. For instance, if someone makes a sarcastic remark, you could reply with, "I see your point. Let's discuss it further." This approach not only diffuses tension, but also demonstrates maturity and self-assurance. Let me share a quick story. A friend of mine, Emma, once dealt with a particularly provocative co-worker who constantly tried to undermine her in meetings. One day, instead of reacting to a snide comment, Emma paused, smiled, and said, "Thanks for your input. I'd like to explore that idea further after the meeting." Her calm, thoughtful response left the co-worker flustered and silenced, while earning Emma respect from her peers. Folks, that's the power of staying unshaken. Another layer to consider is focusing on the bigger picture. Provocations are often fleeting, but your reaction can have lasting consequences. When tempted to react emotionally, ask yourself, will this matter tomorrow, next week, or next year? This perspective helps you prioritize your energy and avoid unnecessary drama. Finally, let's tie this to Stoic wisdom. Epictetus said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." Staying unshaken by provocation isn't about ignoring disrespect or tolerating poor behavior. It's about controlling what you can, your response, and showing that your peace of mind is untouchable. So, how do you apply this in daily life? Start small. The next time someone tries to provoke you, whether it's a critical comment, a rude gesture, or a passive-aggressive remark, pause, breathe, and choose your response intentionally. Over time, this practice will become second nature, and you'll find that provocations lose their power over you. Before we wrap up this section, let me ask you, have you ever stayed calm in a situation where someone was trying to provoke you? How did it change the outcome? Share your story in the comments with the phrase, "Calm is strength." And folks, if you're finding these insights helpful, don't forget to hit subscribe to join our Stoic Relationships community. Together, we're learning to navigate life's challenges with clarity, strength, and wisdom. Number 5, the silent power of walking away. Hey folks, let's talk about one of the strongest, yet quietest tools in your arsenal, the power of walking away. It might seem counterintuitive, but choosing to walk away, whether from an argument, a toxic relationship, or an environment that disrespects you, isn't about giving up. It's about demonstrating self-respect, clarity, and control. Walking away sends a powerful message. I value myself enough to leave what no longer serves me. When you walk away, you're not just exiting a situation, you're reclaiming your power. Imagine you're in a heated disagreement with a colleague or partner. Emotions are high, and words are being exchanged that are only making things worse. In moments like these, staying might escalate the tension, but leaving the conversation with calmness and poise, that shows control. It says, I refuse to engage in negativity that doesn't lead to growth or understanding. Walking away doesn't have to be dramatic. It's not about storming off or making a scene. That's not power. That's attention-seeking. True power lies in a calm, intentional exit. Let's take relationships. For instance, if you're consistently disrespected by someone you care about, calmly saying, I need some space to reflect, and stepping back is far more impactful than shouting or arguing. It shows that you're grounded, unshaken, and unwilling to tolerate behavior that undermines your worth. Now, what about situations where you can't physically walk away, like a job or family dynamic? Here's where the concept of walking away becomes symbolic. It might mean disengaging emotionally, setting boundaries, or deciding not to internalize negativity. Walking away can be a mindset shift just as much as a physical act. Folks, the act of removing yourself, mentally or physically, is about protecting your peace and refusing to let others dictate your emotional state. Let's tie this back to Stoic philosophy. Epictetus said, "Freedom is the only worthy goal in life. It is won by disregarding things that lie beyond our control." Walking away aligns perfectly with this principle. It's about focusing on what you can control, your choices and reactions, and letting go of what you can't, like how others behave or perceive you. Here's a story to bring this to life. A friend of mine, James, spent years in a workplace where his efforts were constantly overlooked. His manager criticized him publicly, ignored his input, and often took credit for his work. At first, James stayed, believing he could prove his worth. But after yet another demeaning interaction, James decided he deserved better. He calmly finished his project, submitted his resignation, and moved on to a new role where his contributions were celebrated. Folks, James didn't just walk away from a job, he walked toward his self-worth. But walking away isn't just about leaving. It's about what you walk toward. It's about creating space for opportunities, environments, and relationships that align with your values. When you walk away from toxicity, you open the door to growth and peace. And sometimes, that act of self-respect inspires others to treat you differently. The silent power of walking away often leaves a lasting impression that words cannot. Before we move on, let me ask, have you ever walked away from a situation that no longer served you? If so, how did it feel to reclaim your power? Drop a quick "I choose respect" in the comments to let me know. And folks, if you're finding value in these insights, don't forget to hit subscribe. Together, in our Stoic Relationships community, we're learning to navigate life's challenges with clarity and strength. Stick around, because up next, we'll explore how to turn disrespect into an opportunity for personal growth. You won't want to miss it. Number 6. Transform disrespect into personal growth. Hey folks, let's talk about something we've all encountered: disrespect. Whether it's a dismissive comment, being overlooked, or outright hostility, moments of disrespect sting. But here's the thing, while you can't always control how others treat you, you can control how you use those moments to grow stronger and more self-assured. Turning disrespect into personal growth is one of the most empowering things you can do, and it's a skill anyone can develop. Let's start with the Stoic mindset. Marcus Aurelius once said, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." In other words, the challenges you face, including disrespect, are opportunities to grow. Disrespect isn't a reflection of your worth. It's a reflection of the other person's values or struggles. The question is, how will you respond? Will you let it break you, or will you use it as fuel to become better? The first step in transforming disrespect is reframing the situation. Instead of internalizing the negative energy, pause and ask yourself, what can I learn from this? For instance, if a co-worker dismisses your idea in a meeting, it might feel personal, but upon reflection, you might realize their reaction has more to do with their insecurities than your competence. Recognizing this allows you to detach emotionally and focus on what you can improve or communicate more clearly next time. Here's a practical approach. View disrespect as feedback. While not all disrespect is constructive, sometimes it highlights areas where you can grow. For example, if someone criticizes your presentation skills, instead of becoming defensive, consider whether there's truth in their comment. Use it as motivation to refine your skills and come back stronger. Folks, the ability to take feedback, even when delivered poorly, and turn it into progress is a hallmark of emotional intelligence. Another key strategy is setting boundaries without losing composure. When someone disrespects you, it's tempting to lash out or shut down. But staying calm and assertively addressing the behavior can turn the dynamic in your favor. For instance, if a friend constantly makes sarcastic remarks at your expense, you could say, "I value our friendship, but I feel disrespected when jokes are made at my expense. I'd appreciate it if we could keep things constructive." This response sets a boundary while maintaining respect for yourself and the other person. Let me share a story to illustrate this. A colleague of mine, Laura, once faced constant interruptions from her manager during presentations. At first, she felt demoralized, thinking her ideas weren't good enough. But instead of letting the disrespect eat away at her confidence, she decided to address it calmly. After a meeting, she approached her manager and said, "I've noticed that my points often get interrupted, and I'd like to ensure my contributions are fully heard. How can we work together to make that happen?" Her manager, caught off guard but impressed by her composure, adjusted his behavior. Laura didn't just grow from the experience, she earned more respect in the process. Transforming disrespect into growth also involves strengthening your inner resilience. This means not allowing disrespect to define how you see yourself. Develop a strong sense of self-worth rooted in your values, accomplishments, and goals. When you know your own value, the opinions or actions of others lose their power to shake you. But let's take it one step further. Use moments of disrespect as a chance to inspire others. When people see you handle challenges with grace and composure, they'll admire your strength and take cues from your behavior. Folks, every time you rise above disrespect, you're not just growing yourself, you're setting an example for those around you. Here's the takeaway. Disrespect is inevitable, but how you respond is entirely up to you. Will you let it diminish you, or will you use it as a stepping stone toward personal growth? The choice is yours, and the opportunities for growth are limitless. Before we move on, let me ask, have you ever turned a moment of disrespect into a moment of triumph? Share your experience in the comments with the phrase, "I choose growth." I'd love to hear your stories. And folks, if you've been finding value in these insights, hit subscribe to join our Stoic Relationships community. Together, we're learning how to navigate challenges and turn obstacles into opportunities. Stick around, because next up, we'll explore how consistent actions can build lasting respect. You won't want to miss it. Number 7, build respect through consistent actions. Hey folks, let's talk about a cornerstone of respect: consistency. If you want people to respect you, it's not about grand gestures or occasional moments of brilliance. True respect is built slowly and steadily through the actions you take every single day. It's about showing up, following through, and staying true to your values no matter the circumstances. Consistency matters because it creates trust. People respect those they can rely on, those whose words align with their actions. Think about it. Have you ever met someone who made big promises but rarely followed through? Over time, their words lose meaning, and your respect for them diminishes. On the flip side, someone who consistently delivers, even in small ways, earns your trust and admiration. So, how do you cultivate respect through consistent actions? Let's break it down. First, be true to your word. If you say you'll do something, do it. Whether it's showing up on time, completing a task, or keeping a promise. Following through demonstrates integrity. Folks, reliability is one of the simplest yet most powerful ways to build respect. People notice when you keep your commitments, no matter how small, and it sets you apart in a world where flakiness is often excused. Consistency also means staying true to your values, especially under pressure. It's easy to stick to your principles when things are going well, but what about when the stakes are high? For instance, imagine a scenario where cutting corners could lead to short-term gains, but compromise your integrity. Choosing to stick to your values, even when it's difficult, reinforces your character and earns lasting respect from those around you. Let's connect this to Stoic philosophy. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "If it is not right, do not do it. If it is not true, do not say it." Living by this principle means aligning your actions with your beliefs every single day. Folks, this level of integrity might not always be the easiest path, but it's the one that commands respect, not just from others, but from yourself. Consistency isn't just about what you do, it's also about how you treat others. Show respect consistently, regardless of the situation or person. Whether you're speaking with a CEO or a server at a restaurant, treating everyone with kindness and dignity reflects your values. People respect those who are fair and empathetic, not just to those they can gain something from, but to everyone. Let me share a quick story. A mentor of mine, Sarah, built an incredible reputation in her field, not because she was the most talented, but because she was the most consistent. Whether she was working on a big project or helping a junior colleague, she always gave her best effort. She treated everyone with respect and followed through on her commitments, no matter how small. Over time, her consistency became her brand, and she earned the respect and trust of everyone around her. Consistency also applies to how you handle challenges. Life is unpredictable, and how you respond to setbacks reveals your true character. People respect those who remain steady, even in the face of adversity. Whether it's maintaining your composure during a conflict or bouncing back after a failure, consistent actions in tough times show resilience and strength. Finally, remember that respect is built over time, not overnight. Consistency requires patience. You might not see the results of your efforts immediately, but with time, your actions will compound, creating a foundation of trust and admiration. People might not always notice the small things you do, but they'll notice the pattern you create. Before we wrap up, let me leave you with this. Building respect isn't about perfection. It's about persistence. It's about showing up every day and doing the right thing, even when it's hard, even when no one's watching. Folks, the small, consistent actions you take today will shape how people see you tomorrow. Thank you for joining me on this journey through these powerful principles. If you found value in this discussion, hit subscribe to become a part of our Stoic Relationships community. Together, we'll keep growing, learning, and building lives grounded in respect, strength, and wisdom. Thank you so much for staying with me until the end, folks. Respect is something we all strive for, but as we've explored today, it's not something you demand. It's something you build through consistent actions, calm responses, and staying true to your values. Remember, every interaction is an opportunity to reinforce your worth and command respect, whether it's at work, in relationships, or within yourself. If this video resonated with you, hit subscribe and join our growing Stoic Relationships community. Let's continue exploring the timeless wisdom of Stoicism together, applying it to modern life to create stronger, more meaningful connections. And before you go, share one insight or strategy from today's discussion that you're excited to apply in your own life. Drop it in the comments. I'd love to hear your thoughts and learn from your experiences. As always, thank you for being here and for being part of this journey. Stay strong, stay true, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care.